Oh, you know what time it is, people. It's time for them football and some bong rips right after this. And welcome back, you beautiful football fans. We had an amazing week 10. We took home a victory in Yahoo, kicked some ass again, have a big matchup this week, hoping to take home a victory, and won in all my other leagues as well. Got some cash. We are rolling right along. So, before we get into those awesome Draftkings picks for the week, we are gonna do what we do best around here. Hit up our VTI bong, cause it's the shit, and we get lit, people. Cheers. Now that we are so fresh and ready to get into these picks, let's start off with the QB position and talk about one of the greatest players in the game right now that is fun to watch, and that is Lamar Jackson. Guys, have you seen him play football yet? He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to hit the field in a long time. He runs, he throws, he does whatever it takes to get to the fucking victory. And you know what? You got Deshaun Watson in Houston coming to town this week. Expect monster numbers out of him. He will not walk away without a W. Expect another huge game from Lamar Jackson this week. Now, we had a little trouble at that RB position last week. Remember I told you about those two rookie running backs? Well, they busted, but we're gonna use one of them again this week, and that is Devin Singletary. Man, they missed the boat on him last week. I swear, only 9 touches. You gotta give this guy more than 9 touches in order to play football and win games. Obviously they didn't, and now they're gonna look back to giving him the ball. They have Miami, who is on a little bit of a win streak right now, which is a little weird, but expect them to handle them using the ground, using Singletary. Gore's a little banged up, so expect him to carry the bulk of the load, and at a nice value. Huge points hopefully this week. I have 2 other running backs I wanna talk about. And first off, let's talk about James White. Look, the Patriots running back system is one of the worst to decipher week in and week out. But there's always one key component to it, and that's James White catching balls out of the backfield. They've had issues of late getting the ball downfield and moving it. Now that they have Mohamed Sanu there, they are able to do so. But James White still is that guy on the offense that is always there when they need the big play. They don't have that tight end, so James White takes over that Gronk role in a sense, especially in red zones. So expect him to at least see the end zone this week again, and expect another big day for James White, maybe a 15 to 25 point range with always that potential to just go off. Lastly, at the running back position, let's talk about the guy who, again, we're talking about opportunity knocks and new running backs coming in, and we have Brian Hill in Atlanta. We don't know much about Brian Hill. He doesn't have much tape, but what we do know is he's a running back, and he's got Carolina, and Carolina can't stop running backs. So 1 + 1 = 2. Put him in your lineup at $4,800. What do you have to lose? What, if he gets 10 points, it's a bad day and you still have $4,800 running back doing some good points? Or if he goes out and puts up 25 points, consider yourself lucky that you fucking spent only $4,800 on a running back that's gonna put up 25 points in a game against Carolina, who Atlanta needs a big win against, especially coming off that nice win last week against the Saints in a divisional matchup. It's triple honeycomb time, folks. Man, that's so awesome. Did you know about this feature, by the way? Did you know about that? Interchangeable. Love my VTI sitch. So now let's talk wide receivers. And I kind of just mentioned one before that we are going to use in our lineup, and that is Mohamed Sanu. Last week he showed up, he's got the reps with Brady, he knows that offense now, and with Julian Edelman being the apple of his eye, he's able to look at Mohamed Sanu and find a lot of open spaces, especially for first downs. Look for him to have another 10 to 14 targets this week, especially paired with White. I like the two as 2 good value plays to be able to slide Lamar Jackson and the tight end we're going to talk about in a little bit in your lineup. Now, the next 2 wide receivers have oddly been some of the most consistent wide receivers in the game with a boom-bust potential, especially Jameson Crowder. Look, the Jets are terrible across the board, but there's something that's very consistent. Sam Darnold likes to throw to James Crowder. And when both of them are on the field, expect big points, at least big targets. And that's kind of what we look to. Number 1 most important thing about building these lineups is volume, targets, runs. When you have guys that are looking to get 20 to 25 touches or 10 to 15 targets a game, those are the guys you want to kind of throw and try to find places in your lineup. That way, you know there's going to be some volume there to at least get you the big points you need. And somebody like Jameson Crowder the last couple weeks is one of those guys. So let's get Jameson Crowder in the lineup this week at a $5,700 value. I think he's gonna pay off well, especially them looking to try to get another victory. And lastly, the other consistent guy, DJ Moore in Carolina. Again, we talked about the Atlanta-Carolina game, divisional matchup. Them gonna have to throw the ball to stay ahead and win this game. McCaffrey is a little banged up, and look, he's gonna go out there and have a big day. But DJ Moore consistently putting up 100 yards the last 3 weeks. So expect him to have another one of those games where he's gonna get a majority share of the touches and possibly into the end zone because Atlanta isn't the best in the core out there. So I do think DJ Moore finds the end zone this week, finally, to get his first score and exceed that 20 to 25 point range at the wide receiver position. Before we talk the last tight end and defense, let's get litty, baby. Now it's tight end time. And like I mentioned before, we are going to be pairing a tight end with our quarterback this week, and that is none other than Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has been one of the solid tight ends this year, in a year where tight ends have been a complete shit show and trying to figure out the one who is gonna be the big guy to show up on a weekly basis. And believe it or not, the last 2 weeks, it's been some guy Jeff Hostetler. So that being said, let's go consistency. Let's stick with Mark Andrews on a big game against Houston. They're going to show up to play. Again, I mentioned Lamar is going to try to be a highlight film again this week. So expect Mark Andrews to have another solid day, 10 to 15 points, with that ability for that high 25-point day that he has done a couple times this year. And finally, let's get that defense out there. And they showed up last week in a big way, and I have a really good feeling about this Oakland team this year. They are the lightning in a bottle team, so to speak. They have a really young, nice defense, and that offense is able to outplay people and score points this year. So if that defense could hold teams to not a lot of points, obviously, they're gonna put out some victories, and they might find themselves in a nice playoff, maybe even the fucking Super Bowl. What did I just say? Now that puts together this lineup this week. Try to use it for tournament play. It's a really good cash game lineup. I'm not sure about the tournament play because we did not throw any really big sleepers in there. Brian Hill is gonna be a high usage again because everybody knows about him. But let's look out there for sleepers this week. I had another big lineup last week where I put together that had Tannehill in it. So let's just try to talk and figure out some situations. There's a couple guys out there that I like talking to that give me some great ideas and some stacks to put together. Keep sending me those ideas, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for always watching and enjoying the football Sundays with me. Now, you know what we do before we get out of here. I am going to take this dab of some mulatto sauce. Gonna finish this out right here. Yum, yum, yums. Out of you know who. Thank you guys once again for joining me for the picks. I really appreciate all of you out there. Like I said before, please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys are excited as I am for Football Sunday. I got 2 teams in second place right now. We're fighting for first. Those 2 teams do get a bye if we are in second place still. So fingers crossed we win out for the rest of the season. Draftkings, we are doing very well. Lineup split last week, and we're hoping to do the same this week and get another one in the top 1,000, which was really nice. And maybe someday take home that 4-figure victory. Who knows? To that, I say, stay beautiful, keep doing what you guys are doing for the community, and most importantly, stay lit.